Royal wedding bombshell. Spain's Princess Leonor and Denmark's Prince Christian getting married, the palace confirmation that's breaking the internet. Welcome to BNews. What if the most powerful royal wedding of the century is already being planned in secret, and nobody told you until now? Across Europe, rumors have been swirling for months about a potential union that would reshape the landscape of European monarchy forever. Princess Leonor of Spain, heir to the Spanish throne, and Prince Christian of Denmark, heir to the Danish crown, in a marriage that would unite two of Europe's most important royal houses. The whispers started innocently enough, a glance exchanged at a royal event, body language analyzed by eagle-eyed royal watchers, cryptic social media posts that seemed to hint at something more. But now, explosive reports are emerging that claim official confirmation is imminent, that families are preparing announcements, and that what seemed like internet speculation might actually be the most significant royal romance of our generation. Is this the real deal, or is it just wishful thinking from royal fans desperate for a fairy tale? Today, we're separating fact from fiction, investigating every shred of evidence, and revealing what we actually know about the relationship between these two young royals who could someday rule side by side. Before we dive into this potential royal romance that has everyone talking, make sure you absolutely smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications because this story is developing rapidly and you don't want to miss a single update as it unfolds. And here's what we need from you right now. Comment below and tell us, do you think Princess Leonor and Prince Christian would make the perfect royal couple, or is this just media hype and matchmaking fantasy? And if they did get married, which country should they live in, Spain or Denmark? Drop your thoughts because we're reading every single comment. Now let's investigate the truth behind the rumors that have royal watchers around the world absolutely losing their minds. To understand the significance of the speculation surrounding Princess Leonor and Prince Christian, we first need to understand who these young royals are and why a potential union between them would be so monumentally important. Princess Leonor of Spain, whose full name is Leonor de Toulouse Los Santos de Borbón y Ortiz, was born on October 31, 2005, making her 19 years old as of November 2024. She is the eldest daughter of King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia of Spain, and as the firstborn child, she holds the title of Princess of Asturias, which is the traditional title for the heir to the Spanish throne. Leonor's position is historically significant because Spain only relatively recently changed its succession laws to allow absolute primogeniture, meaning the firstborn child inherits regardless of gender. Under previous laws, a younger brother would have superseded her in the line of succession, but constitutional changes ensured that Leonor, as the elder child, would become Spain's future queen regnant. Leonor has been carefully prepared for her future role from a young age. She has received an elite education, studying at the Santa Maria de los Rosales school in Madrid alongside her younger sister, Infanta Sofia. In a move that garnered significant international attention, in 2021 Leonor was sent to UWC Atlantic College in Wales, the same international boarding school that Leonor's grandmother, Queen Sofia of Spain, attended and where numerous other European royals have studied. This educational choice positioned Leonor within international circles and likely facilitated connections with other young European royals, including potentially Prince Christian of Denmark. After completing her international baccalaureate at Atlantic College, Leonor embarked on military training in August 2023, attending the General Military Academy in Zaragoza as part of the traditional preparation for Spanish monarchs who serve as commanders-in-chief of the armed forces. She is following the same path her father King Felipe took, rotating through the Army, Navy, and Air Force academies over a 3-year period. Beyond her official training and education, Princess Leonor has been increasingly visible in her public role as heir to the throne. She delivered her first major public speech at age 13 during the Princess of Asturias Awards ceremony, demonstrating poise and maturity that impressed observers. She has accompanied her parents on state visits and official engagements with increasing frequency, learning the diplomatic and ceremonial aspects of royal duties. Her 18th birthday in October 2023 was a significant milestone, marking her legal coming of age and her assumption of constitutional duties including the ability to serve as regent if her father were incapacitated and the formal swearing of allegiance to the Spanish constitution before Parliament. Leonor represents the future of the Spanish monarchy at a time when Republican sentiment exists in parts of Spain, making her personal character, public image, and eventually her choice of spouse matters of significant national importance. Prince Christian of Denmark, whose full name is Christian Valdemar Henri John, was born on October 15, 2005, making him also 19 years old as of November 2024. just 16 days older than Princess Leonor, a detail that hasn't escaped the notice of those who see potential compatibility between them. Christian is the eldest child of King Frederick X and Queen Mary of Denmark, and he became Crown Prince of Denmark when his father ascended to the throne on January 14, 2024, following the abdication of his grandmother, Queen Margrethe II. As Crown Prince, Christian is first in line to the Danish throne and will someday become King of Denmark, continuing the line of the House of Glucksburg that has ruled Denmark since 1863. Like Leonor, Christian benefits from Denmark's absolute primogeniture succession law, meaning his position as heir is secure regardless of the gender of any future siblings. Christian's upbringing has been notably more private than many other European royal heirs, reflecting Queen Mary's Australian background and her desire to give her children as normal a childhood as possible within the constraints of royal life. He attended Tranegard School, a private school in the Copenhagen area, before following in his mother's educational path by enrolling at Herlufsholm School, an elite Danish boarding school with a history dating back to 1565. However, Christian's time at Herlufsholm became controversial when investigations revealed a serious bullying and abuse culture at the school, leading his parents to withdraw him and his younger sister Isabella in 2022. Christian subsequently attended Ordrup Gymnasium in Copenhagen while living at home, before making the significant decision in 2023 to continue his education abroad at Gordonston School in Scotland, the same school his grandfather King Frederick attended and where his great-great-grandfather Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, was educated. The choice of Gordonston is particularly interesting because it's known for its challenging, character-building approach to education that emphasizes outdoor activities, community service, and personal development alongside academic studies. It suggests that Christian is being prepared for kingship through experiences that build resilience, independence, and leadership rather than simply receiving traditional classroom education. In 2024, following the completion of his studies at Gordonston, Christian was expected to begin military service, following the Danish royal tradition of military training for heirs to the throne. As Crown Prince, Christian has taken on increasing public duties, appearing at official events alongside his parents, attending diplomatic functions, and gradually assuming the ceremonial and representational responsibilities that will eventually become central to his life as king. His 18th birthday in October 2023, like Leonor's, marked his legal coming of age and his assumption of more formal constitutional responsibilities. The speculation about a potential romantic relationship between Princess Leonor and Prince Christian didn't emerge in a vacuum. It's built on several interconnected factors that have led royal watchers to wonder whether these two young heirs might be more than just acquaintances. First, there's the undeniable fact that they move in overlapping social circles. European royal families, despite ruling different nations, form a relatively small, interconnected network. Many young royals attend the same elite schools, appear at the same official events, and are connected through various family relationships spanning generations of intermarriage between European royal houses. Leonor and Prince Christian have both attended events where young European royals gather, including various royal weddings, jubilee celebrations, and diplomatic occasions where heirs to different thrones are brought together. Second, there's the proximity in age. Being born just 16 days apart means they're part of the same generation, facing similar pressures and expectations, and experiencing the unique challenges of being groomed for future monarchy at exactly the same life stage. This age compatibility is significant in royal circles where appropriate matches are often discussed and where the pool of potential spouses who understand royal life is relatively small. Third, both represent modernizing forces within their respective monarchies. They're young, educated in international settings, aware of contemporary issues like climate change and social justice, and being positioned as the faces of 21st-century European monarchy. A union between them would symbolize cooperation and unity among European nations at a time when the European project itself faces various challenges. Fourth, and perhaps most tantalizingly for those who believe the rumors, there have been reports, unconfirmed but persistent, of the two being seen together at private social occasions away from official royal events. These alleged sightings, reported primarily by Spanish and Danish tabloid media, describe encounters at parties, social gatherings of young European elites, and even supposedly private meetings arranged between the two families. None of these reports have been officially confirmed, and palace sources have consistently declined to comment on the private lives of young royals who are not yet of an age where romantic relationships would necessarily be considered matters of public record. However, the persistence of these rumors and the specific details some reports include, particular venues, dates, descriptions of interactions, have led many royal watchers to believe there may be at least some substance behind the speculation. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. What actual evidence exists for an official confirmation of a relationship, engagement, or planned wedding between Princess Leonor and Prince Christian? This is where we must be absolutely clear and honest with our audience, because the truth is significantly less dramatic than some headlines and social media posts suggest. As of November 2024, there has been no official confirmation from either the Spanish royal house or the Danish royal house of any romantic relationship between Princess Leonor and Prince Christian. There has been no announcement of an engagement. There has been no confirmation of wedding plans. The official position of both royal households, to the extent they've addressed the speculation at all, has been consistent silence or generic statements about not commenting on the private lives of young royals. What does exist is a robust ecosystem of speculation, analysis, and what might charitably be called hopeful interpretation of various pieces of evidence. Royal watching communities on social media platforms, particularly Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, have created elaborate theories connecting dots that may or may not actually form a picture. Photographs from official events are analyzed in minute detail, body language is scrutinized, glances are interpreted as meaningful, proximity is noted as significant. For example, at certain royal gatherings where both Leonor and Christian were present, videos and photographs showing them in conversation or standing near each other have been shared widely with captions suggesting chemistry or connection. These analyses, while entertaining and occasionally insightful, are ultimately speculative. Two young people talking at an official event could mean anything from romantic interest to polite small talk between acquaintances to strategically positioned conversation for diplomatic purposes. Spanish and Danish tabloid media have been somewhat more aggressive in their reporting, with publications in both countries running stories that range from cautiously speculative to breathlessly certain about a relationship between the two heirs. Headlines proclaiming, "The royal wedding of the century is coming," or, "Leonor and Christian, everything you need to know about the relationship," appear with some regularity, particularly during slow news periods when royal content helps drive readership. However, when you actually read these articles rather than just the headlines, they typically rely on unnamed sources, cautious language like, could be, might be, or, sources suggest, and extensive padding about the individual royals rather than concrete information about a relationship. This is the classic pattern of tabloid royal coverage, a sensational headline designed to generate clicks supported by an article that delivers far less than the headline promises. The phenomenon we're witnessing with Leonor and Christian is, in many ways, a modern version of royal matchmaking that has existed for centuries, except now it plays out in real time on social media rather than in private correspondence between royal houses. Throughout European history, marriages between royals from different nations were arranged for political, diplomatic, and dynastic purposes. These marriages created alliances, ended conflicts, and wove the royal houses of Europe into an interconnected family tree. While arranged marriages are no longer the norm, modern European royals are generally free to choose their own spouses, though with varying degrees of family input and approval. The idea of strategically beneficial royal matches hasn't disappeared entirely. A union between the future Queen of Spain and the future King of Denmark would be diplomatically significant, strengthening ties between two EU nations and creating a powerful partnership within European royal circles. This historical context is important because it helps explain why so many people, not just tabloid editors but genuine royal enthusiasts and even some serious royal historians, find the idea of a Leonor Christian match so appealing and plausible. It fits a pattern that has existed for literally centuries. It makes strategic sense for both families and both nations. And in an era when European monarchy increasingly must justify its existence and relevance, a glamorous royal wedding between two young, attractive heirs could generate the kind of positive attention and public enthusiasm that monarchies need to maintain popular support. The wedding of Prince William and Catherine Middleton in 2011 demonstrated the enormous soft power and positive publicity a major royal wedding can generate. A wedding between Leonor and Christian could potentially rival or even exceed that impact, given that it would involve heirs from two different nations rather than just one. However, we must also consider the significant practical and personal challenges that would face any potential relationship between Princess Leonor and Prince Christian, challenges that suggest why even if there is mutual interest, official confirmation might be delayed or might never come. First and foremost is the constitutional issue. Both Leonor and Christian are heirs to their respective thrones, expected to eventually become reigning monarchs of their countries. Spanish constitutional law and tradition expect the monarch to reside in Spain and prioritize Spanish national interests. Danish constitutional law and tradition have similar expectations for the Danish monarch. A marriage between two reigning or future reigning monarchs would create unprecedented complications. Would one of them have to renounce their place in the succession? Would they attempt to somehow reign jointly over both nations, which would be constitutionally impossible under current law? Would they live separately, maintaining separate courts while married, which would be bizarre and practically unworkable? These aren't hypothetical concerns, they're fundamental issues that would need to be resolved before any serious relationship could progress to marriage. The historical precedent isn't encouraging. There are virtually no examples of two people who were each in direct line to different thrones successfully marrying and both maintaining their succession positions. Typically, one partner would have to renounce their succession rights or their relationship to their birth nation's throne, which in the case of Leonor Christian would mean giving up something they've been prepared for their entire lives. The personal sacrifice and the political complications of such a renunciation would be enormous. It's difficult to imagine either the Spanish or Danish people accepting their future monarch living permanently in another country or dividing their time and loyalties between two nations. Second, there's the age and life stage consideration. Leonor and Christian are both 19 years old as of November 2024. While 19 is legally adult, and historical royal marriages often occurred at even younger ages, modern expectations and practices are different. Contemporary European royals typically don't marry until their late 20s or early 30s, after completing their education, establishing themselves in their roles, and having time to mature and be certain about such a consequential decision. Prince William was 28 when he married Catherine Middleton. Crown Prince Frederick was 35 when he married Mary Donaldson. Even if Leonor and Christian are interested in each other romantically, it's unlikely that either set of parents or royal advisors would encourage rushing into engagement and marriage while both are still teenagers or barely into their 20s. Third, there's the pressure and scrutiny that would come with officially confirming a relationship. Once a relationship is publicly acknowledged, the couple would face intense media attention, public speculation about every aspect of their interaction, and enormous pressure regarding the timeline for engagement and marriage. Many modern royals have chosen to keep relationships private for as long as possible precisely to avoid this pressure and to give the relationship space to develop naturally without constant public scrutiny. If Leonor and Christian are indeed romantically involved, the smart strategy might be to keep it private for several more years, allowing the relationship to mature away from the spotlight before any official confirmation or announcement. So where does this leave us in terms of what we actually know versus what is speculation? Here's the honest assessment. We know that Princess Leonor and Prince Christian exist, are both heirs to their respective thrones, are nearly identical in age, likely know each other at least in passing through royal circles, and would theoretically make a strategically sensible match from a dynastic perspective.